So did you know? The monk's a fox. This is going to be a review of One Piece chapter 953. The cover story this week is continuing with Beijing traveling towards Thriller Bark. Now, nobody knows where Thriller Bark currently is, as it's a ship, but we'll find out within the next one or two cover stories. But the majority of this chapter takes place actually in flashback, but it's flashbacks of the Ringo region. So it starts off with Kawamatsu essentially deciding, I'm going to commit suicide because I lost Hiyori. But he ends up not going through with it, and he actually starts collecting a bunch of swords. Turns out that there's this fox that the daimyo of the region had as like a sidekick, and that fox actually starts following around Kawamatsu. Now, I actually read this off of a post on the One Piece Reddit, so not my idea, but I can't give the guy proper notification. So thank you, a random stranger. But he pointed out that the silhouette of the daimyo of Ringo actually looks a lot like Zoro. So potential familial connections established. But it's, apparently the swords in the Ringo region act as grave markings instead of like actual headstones. So that actually explains how Moria was able to grab Ryuma's body as well as Shusui from the Ringo region, and why it was so well preserved. Because it's so cold there that the body's just not decomposing at all. So, as I said earlier, the fox stays with Kawamatsu, and it turns out that the fox is actually in the monk. So, that is in line with a lot of Japanese mythology, that foxes have magical powers, some of which include the ability to transform. So, while this is One Piece, that it makes perfect sense in terms of this being a Japanese manga. So now we know where all of the weapons are going to be coming from with regards to the weapon supply for the rebellion, as Kawamatsu's essentially been hoarding swords. So Kawamatsu's supply of swords is going to act as the weapon supply for the entire rebellion. As what he's done is essentially grabbed every single sword that he could before he actually got captured. And just looking from what we saw in the chapter, there's got to be a good 1,000 swords at least, and there's definitely way more, because there's been a lot of samurai in Wano. But what people are probably going to take away as the biggest point in this chapter is Hiyori's offer to Zoro. Essentially trade Shusui, the sword of Ryuma, for Odin's Enma, which Enma translates as the god of hell in Buddhism. And essentially we find out that Enma gave Kaido his scar, so pretty hype, I'd have to say. And that's where the chapter ends. Now, I'm going to throw out a prediction. Emphasis on prediction. It might not come true, but there's been an established theory for a while now that Zoro's gonna have Shusui. He's gonna continue to upgrade his Kitetsus from Sandai to Nidai, and then eventually to Shodai, and then he's gonna keep the Wado Ichimonji. I don't think that's coming true now that I've seen Enma. I think that... So, prediction time. considering that the Nidai Kotetsu was shown off so early in the Wano arc, I'm thinking that that was a red herring on Oda's part to kind of play at the theories that were established in the community a while back and say, oh, you think this is what's going to happen? This is what's really going to happen. So I think Zoro is going to keep Shusui. He's going to essentially break the curse that everyone thinks that happened once Shusui was stolen. But at the same time, instead of replacing the Sandai Katetsu with the Nidai, I think that he's going to keep the Enma blade instead as his third and final sword. And that's going to be on the condition that when Momonosuke eventually becomes strong enough to lead the Wano people, Zoro is going to challenge, or I guess Momonosuke is going to challenge Zoro for the right to the sword, because obviously that sword is his father's. And it's my clever way of thinking how Oda is going to establish a tie between Zoro and Wano, other than having some kind of familial relations in the island. And for all the Hiyori and Zoro shippers, that's a way of establishing familial ties there. If that actually does come about, we don't know what's going to happen on that front. But I could be completely wrong. But, hey, it's a prediction. So I think that's going to wrap up this prediction, or this review of One Piece chapter 953. So with that, have a good day.